Welcome to Oxford Street. I'm sure you've all been down here, if of course you've come to London on that very special visit, whether it be of course to see family or simply just a tourist trip. Oxford Street used to be the glittering place where you could only really find shops that you never found anywhere else in the world. You know the sort of place. It's the sort of place now where you think, oh yes, they're everywhere. But there are still one or two shops that stand out, particularly with memories. Selfridges is still here. Who could forget, of course, the gorgeous and brilliant Jeremy Piven playing Mr. Selfridge in that hit TV series? He brought the store alive once again. But there's one store here behind me, that's right in the very heart of Oxford Street, Marks and Spencer's, which was a particular favourite with one of our most famous British Prime Ministers, the Right Honourable Margaret Thatcher, who reopened this way back in the late 80s after a refurbishment. But now this very famous building is once again in jeopardy. As ever, let me explain. Hi, good morning, Neil Sean here. As I say, the very heart of Oxford Street. Yes, get me teeth in Oxford Street. I know, it's cold out here today, by the way. Yes, not many shoppers around. You know, I don't know about you, wherever you are in the world, they talk about the high street sort of going off the boil and stuff. There's still people shopping, but I don't know also about you. I just feel that shops are empty simply because there's no service. Now, this particular building behind me here, can you believe, is 100 years old. Grade 2 listed building and now the home of the very famous department store, Marks and Spencer's. It's their flagship store in the country. But sadly, it looks like this could be the end of the line if planners get their way. And in particular, our London Mayor Sadiq Khan. Let me explain. The future of Marks and Spencer's flagship Oxford Street store will soon be decided after a public inquiry into the controversial plans to knock it down that was finished last November. The supermarket giant has doubled down on claims it will leave Oxford Street if the building isn't razed and rebuilt. They said that the motion wasn't a threat, but the business case, after painting a very bleak picture of the failing of Oxford Street, which they claim is now plagued by candy stores, souvenir shops, and very sky-high rents. Marks and Spencers want to replace the nearly 100-year-old Grade 2 listed building with a smaller shop, offices, a gym, an arcade and a cafe. Painters claim that demolishing the historic development would release 40,000 tonnes of CO2 into the atmosphere and are fighting for a refurbishment deal instead. The inquiry follows Secretary of State Michael Gove's decision to call the plans earlier this year. A decision will finally be made after the inquiry has weighed up all the information. If approved, it could lead to a shake-up towards how projects on Grade 2 listed buildings on the popular Oxford Street will be viewed in the future. Thank you so much for watching this particular short film all about Marks and Spencer. So next time you come in here, it could in fact be the last time. And it's fascinating to know, isn't it, that really in this sort of climate, all of these beautiful buildings that have been here for so many years and meant so much to so many people seemingly can get eradicated, removed without much debate. If you go up and down London, you will see that we've still got many historical buildings, but behind those beautiful facades are now either offices, flats, gyms, or more importantly, just waiting to be demolished, which is a terrible shame. I'd love to know if there's any buildings in your part of the world that they've managed to keep, but sadly not really the same building as they were. Time, of course, stands in the way of no one. But isn't it a shame when you look back and think that particular building held so many memories and for such a long time was celebrated by so many, but sadly now is completely destroyed. There's so many stores here on Oxford Street that there used to be huge department stores. In fact, there was one just a little bit higher up that they made an entire feature film about, starring Dora Bryan. It was all about shop girls that simply lived within the store. Can you imagine? But that's how powerful they were. But as I say, this particular store, Marks and Spencer's, holds a lot of affection for many people, not just because it's a great British brand, which started in the very heart of West Yorkshire, but became a global phenomenon around the world. And next time you're in, as I say, it could be for the very last time. Neil Sean in the very heart of Oxford Street.